Hey everyone, welcome back to What's News. Today we're going to be talking about a cell phone, but one that's being made with such a sense of purpose that it makes being a phone kind of an afterthought. It's a phone that's brought back some of the excitement into the cell phone world, and here's the crazy part. It's a Lenovo. We're talking about the Lenovo Legion Duel 2. Now, Lenovo isn't known to be exciting at anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, they make good products, they make reliable business machines, even gamer-focused products, but never anything that would make a hormonal teenager pine for it. Certainly not something that would make you put posters up on the wall. But all that began to change when they brought out something called the Lenovo Legion Duel last year. See, much like the Asus and Red Magic phones, this was focus built for gamers, but somehow you couldn't help get the feeling that they couldn't quite commit. As a result, the phone ended up looking like, well, any other phone, just a little better at certain things. But sometime during this journey, perhaps fueled by having to stay indoors for far too long and watching a little more anime than anyone would like to admit, the engineers and designers at Lenovo seem to have decided to let the madness out a little bit. And what they came up with is this: the Lenovo Legion Duel 2. Now this phone is bonkers. Where can we even start? Well, let's start with the screen. Okay, it's a 1080p screen that's AMOLED, so it's got that beautiful contrast ratio and response time, but it's 144 Hz refresh rate. The crazy part though, is that it's got a 720 Hz touch polling rate. And what this means is every second it checks 720 times for any touch input you would have made, just so it doesn't miss a single move you make in game. Now, if you're thinking that's a little bit of an overkill, you'll see that this is a bit of a theme that carries through the phone. It has 8 virtual keys around the phone that you could map to any movement in game, so that while playing it feels like a controller for a console. It has stereo speakers, but what's crazy is it has stereo haptic as well. It's got dual haptic engines, so that if a game decides to give you a different sensation on each side of the phone, it can do it for maximum immersion. It's got an array of cameras at the back, but what's crazy is the pop-up front-facing selfie camera that's mounted on the side of the phone, so that when you're holding the phone and you're gaming and streaming, you're holding it in landscape mode, which makes that pop-up camera at the perfect spot to serve as a face cam for your viewers. So that's not all. This camera is 44 megapixels, has autofocus, and has AI features built in that'll allow you to, say, remove the background or replace your image with that of a virtual avatar if that's your thing. And all this is done in real time in the phone itself, pretty much eliminating the need for a streaming PC. Now you might be thinking, sure, but what if I do all this and I'm running out of juice? Well, it's got not one but 2 batteries totaling 5500 milliampere hours. But the crazy part is it's got 2 charging points, one at the base of the phone where you would expect it to be, and the other on the side of the phone opposite to that of the selfie camera. So again, if you were gaming and streaming and you were holding it in landscape mode, you could just plug it in along the side of the phone and keep living your best gamer life. But if you're doing all of this on a phone, surely it's about to get really hot. No problem. It's got a vapor cooling chamber to take away the heat from the processor, and it's got copper tubing to bring that heat to the surface of the phone, where it has not one but 2 fans, an intake and an exhaust that'll ramp up to 12.5 and 15,000 RPM respectively, to make sure your phone is kept cool and you're churning out those frames for the best gaming and streaming experience of your life. And yes, the fans do probably get noisy, but in all likelihood you will be using earphones with this. But what if you don't want to use earphones? Well, it has the stereo speakers, but it also has 4 inbuilt microphones with artificial intelligence noise cancelling to remove any fan noise and any other background noise that might be there. So you could theoretically stream and game without earphones at all, and it should be okay. Look, this phone has rear cameras and it's got the capabilities to make some text and even use other apps, but that's clearly not the focus here. This phone has pretty much eliminated the need for a streaming PC while still giving you the best gaming experience you could possibly have, which brings us to the price. Now, this varies depending on where you are in the world, but in China, the top of the line variant has a whopping 18 gigs of RAM and 512 GB of internal storage, and it costs $917 US. Now, granted, there'll be taxes added if you ship it out. In the UK, for example, right now it's available for pre-order, and the 16 GB variant is about $1,070 all inclusive with taxes. And frankly, that's quite amazing. Now, that's not cheap per se, but given what you're getting, I think it may actually be solid bang for buck. But that isn't even the point of this phone. Lenovo, with their design and aesthetic choices and the placement of their cameras and the fact that they've included fans not as an external device but into the body itself, shows a sense of commitment, a sort of unapologetic brazenness that is fantastic. I can't wait to see how this phone actually works out in the real world over a long term. But whatever the case may be, I'm just glad that this sort of thing exists. Thank you, Lenovo. And thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Stay happy, stay peaceful, stay colorful.